Namaste Saraswati Deve Kauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Shunyavadi Patyatya Desitarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Prabhadakacharya Asadhara Siddhu Shri Shriman His Divine Grace Shalesi Bhaktivedanta Smaraj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Haribo Slava Zabrani Bhaktam Slava Shri Guru Shri Gaurangi Oma Gyana Tvinandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksur Unvilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stavitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagradatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakans Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karna Sindho Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishubhanu Siddhadevi Pranamami Hri Priye Panchakapa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pranitananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Bhagavad-gita, chapter 5, Karma Yoga, Action, Krishna Consciousness, text number 17. Tad buddhya sadatmanas, tad nishtas tad parayanaha, gachatnya punar avritim, Jnana niraduta kalmashaha, tad buddhyas tad atmanas, tad nishtas tad parayanaha, gachatnya punar avritim, jnana niraduta kalmashaha. Atmanas tad nishtas tad parayanaha, gachatnya punar avritim, jnana niraduta kalmashaha, tad buddhayas tad atmanas, tad nishtas tad parayanaha, Gachatnya punar avritim, jnana niraduta kalmashaha. Ladies. Tad buddhyas tad atmanas, tad nishtas tad parayanaha, gachatnya punar avritim, jnana niraduta kalmashaha. Tad buddhaya, those whose intelligence is always in the Supreme. Tad atmanaha, those whose minds are always in the Supreme. Tat nishta, those whose faith is only meant for the Supreme. Tat parayanaha, those who have completely taken shelter of Him. Gachanti, go. Apunar avritim, to liberation. Jnana, by knowledge. Nirduta, cleanse. Kalmashaha, misgivings. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhagavad-gita Swami Prabhupada. When one's mind, intelligence, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. Purport. The Supreme Transcendental truth is Lord Krishna. The whole Bhagavad-gita centers around the declaration that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the version of all Vedic literature. Paratattva means the Supreme Reality, who is understood by the knowers of the Supreme as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the last word in the Absolute. There is nothing more than that. The Lord says, Matak parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. Impersonal Brahman is also supported by Krishna. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Therefore, in all ways, Krishna is the Supreme Reality. One whose mind, intelligence, faith, and refuge are always in Krishna. In other words, one who is fully in Krishna consciousness is undoubtedly washed clean of all misgivings and is in perfect knowledge in everything concerning transcendence. Krishna conscious person can thoroughly understand that there is duality, simultaneous identity and individuality in Krishna. And equipped with such transcendental knowledge, one can make steady progress on the path of liberation. So the verse again. Tad buddhayas tad atmanas tad nishtas tad parayanaha gachatnya pana arvitim yana nirduta kalmashaha. One's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme. Then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge, thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. In the 14th chapter, Krishna had said something similar. Every chapter says something similar. But in the 14th chapter, Krishna said, Mamchayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. When one is engaged in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, one comes at once to the level of Brahman. So Brahman means to actually realize that we're different from this body. We may not be fully conscious of who we are, but at least we know who we're not. Probably compare that if you're in a jail cell for so many years and then suddenly they let you out, how good you feel. Now we're in the material concept of life, and although we're not feeling as well as we could, still we accept this because we're accustomed to suffering. And we think it's completely natural and normal to be in anxiety about the future. But when one comes to the Brahma Bhuta platform, there's no nashoshiti nakangshiti. And then as it says in the next verse, samak sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. We see everyone is an expansion of Krishna. Everything is Krishna's energy, and everything becomes very beautiful because we concentrate the mind upon Krishna. But it begins with tad buddhayas, use our intelligence. Of course, in the material world, people think intelligence is how much money they have. The more intelligent they are, the more they get material things for gratifying their senses. But in spiritual life, intelligence means how to give up material sense gratification, how to give up the desire for fruitive activities, and to concentrate the mind upon Krishna. In other words, as long as we're engaged in sense gratification or desiring sense gratification, the Maya takes our spiritual intelligence away. So although people are very proud of how much intelligence they may have some degrees from universities, they may have some job where they're trying to figure out what's smaller than a quark, which is just a little particle of an atom, and they spend their whole life chasing after little quarks. Quarks. Quark is a little fraction of an atom, supposedly. And they think they're very intelligent. But actually they have no idea who they actually are, nor do they know what the purpose of life is or how to achieve it. They're completely in ignorance, thinking themselves very learned. As a matter of fact, the more we think ourselves learned and advanced and very important, then the more we become bewildered by ignorance. After all, the biggest of us, amongst us, is only 1/10,000th the size of tip hair in size, which is not very big. Maybe someone is 2/10,000ths, I don't know. They're twice as big as we are. But still, if you saw someone 1/10,000th the size of tip hair in size, got a magnifying glass or hey, how you doing down there? So there's not much to be proud of course, because we're relatively more intelligent or more wealthy or stronger or something compared to someone else in the illusory energy. Therefore we think my illusion is superior to your illusion. but after all, it's all an illusion. So that takes intelligence. It takes intelligence even to understand that our bodies are changing and that we're not changing. It takes intelligence to understand how our remembrance, our knowledge, our forgetfulness is not under our control. Whatever we're seeing and remembering, that's being supplied to us. Otherwise, why is it sometimes we can look at someone, we remember their name. Last name is Dasi, right? At least we get the last names right usually. And sometimes we look at someone, we can't, for the life of us, we can't remember anything about the person. We know we've seen them before, but we can't remember. Have I seen you before? Yeah, I'm your brother. Oh, I knew I saw you before. And sometimes we're trying to remember and we can't remember, and then suddenly it pops into our mind. That's because Krishna is supplying whatever remembrance we have, whatever knowledge we have, whatever intelligence we have is all coming from Krishna. And it's all actually useless unless it's utilized in Krishna's service. I remember one time I was with Prabhupada in the garden in Los Angeles, and Prabhupada was talking to me for some time, asked where I came from, and was talking about the temple. I was president of Dallas at that time. And then he pointed to the tree, and he said, "Do you see that bird in the tree?" And I didn't see any bird. But anyhow, I wasn't going to contradict Prabhupada. So he said, of course. Yeah. He said, that little bird, he said, he has his nest, he has his, little wife and everything. Krishna is giving everything he needs. So why do you think he's not going to give you everything you need? If he's going to give it to the bird, why won't he give it to you? Do you think he likes the bird better than you? Maybe, I don't know. He's probably a nice bird. So Krishna gives us intelligence. Whatever kind of intelligence we want, if we want an intelligence how to become Krishna conscious, then Krishna will give us that intelligence. But we have to show Krishna that's what we want. If we have other desires, then Krishna will also give us intelligence to fulfill those other desires. But if we have intelligence in Krishna consciousness, then our minds will become absorbed in thinking about Krishna. Then we'll see things, for instance, one of my favorite verses, same as the next one, Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmani Gavihastani Shuni Chaiva Swapake Cha Pandita Samadarshana. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with an equal vision the learned and gentle Brahmin. A cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. And he says the same thing in many places in Bhagavad-gita. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinava vinashantam yakpashyati sapashyati. One who can see the Supreme Soul, Super Soul, along with the individual soul in all bodies, and who knows that neither the soul nor the Super Soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, he actually sees. Samam pashani savatra samavasti tam ishvaram nihenastyatmanatmanam tatoyati param gitim. One who can see the Super Soul equal everywhere in all bodies does not degrade himself by his mind, and thus he approaches the supreme destination. In other words, when our minds are absorbed in actually understanding Krishna properly, then we'll see he's not only in the spiritual world, dancing with the gopis or playing with herding the cows, but he's even in our heart. That's pretty close to us. Do you know anyone closer to your heart than someone in your heart? So Krishna is actually quite close to all of us. course, we think Krishna is just, he is some kind of little small man in a heart with four hands and, maybe has a club. Hope he doesn't hit me with it. But actually, he's the all-loving, he's the all-loving Supreme Person. He loves each one of us. We have a very intimate relationship with him. We just ignore him, though. We think, there's so many other more important things to do than to love Krishna. So Krishna is very patiently waiting there for us to wake up. But that's why he has the material nature, because as soon as we turn our face away from Krishna, the material nature shakes us in one way to some degree or another, so we can wake up and turn our face to Krishna again. So if we're suffering, it's not because of all the mean people around us, or no one loves me, everyone hates me. We used to have that when I was younger. No one loves me, everyone hates me, I'm going to eat some worms. Because we have a hard taste in that. But sometimes we feel like that no one loves me, no one appreciates me. And then if we hear that Krishna loves us, we say, oh, big deal. He loves everyone. What's the big deal about him loving? He has so many girlfriends. But actually, it's not in a material loving relationship. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has unlimited potencies, including unlimited affection, can love the little tiny souls, ourselves, equally, as he loves Srimati Radharani, as he loves the deer in Vrindavan, as he loves the cowherd boys and Mother just, so he can also love us in the same way. The question is whether we want to love him or not. Of course, that love is by service for us for now. But when we actually use our intelligence and focus it on Krishna, then we can actually feel and first of all understand Krishna's presence, how he's situated in everyone's heart, how he's situated as material energy, that this is all his energy, how he's controlling it by his external energy, etc. Then, as one experiences Krishna consciousness, comes to the level of faith, nishta, liberation. We keep on hearing that we're eternal, but how nice it would be to realize we're eternal. But when it actually realizes it's eternal, then he prasanatma. That's the first stage when we actually feel free from all distress. That's the most desirable thing, at least at the beginning. I mean, of course, hearing about Krishna and chanting about him and serving him, taking prasadam, we can experience some transcendental ecstasy. But to actually become free from all anxiety, then we can actually experience real happiness, beginning to experience real happiness. Then that's called nishta. And then one has faith in the words of Bhagavad-gita, because one is experiencing them, that we're eternal, we're conscious of our relation with Paramatma, then we become dependent on him, more and more dependent on him. That feeling that we really need Paramatma to help us because he knows everything. As long as we're dovetailed with Paramatma, whatever we're doing is perfect, because whatever we're doing is completely out of dedication to Krishna's mission, to Krishna's desires. We become merged into Krishna's desires out of love for Krishna. And then we understand that since Krishna knows everything, following Krishna's direction, being his instrument, is perfect. And anything less than that, anything other than that, is a problem. And if we think we have problems, that's all our problems actually, is that we're doing something other than following Krishna's directions. And then Jnana Nirduta Kamasha, everything is revealed. And the first installment is to see everyone as a spiritual being. No more hankering, no more lamentation, to understand that everyone is equal and that Krishna is completely in control. Nothing happens by accident. Everything should be seen as a lesson for us. always thinking, what is the lesson I'm supposed to learn? What is my purpose? What is my lesson? And then, as we learn, we become learned in association with Krishna, then we become fully conscious of Krishna. And what is the lesson? Ne prarishat priyam prapya, no dvijat prapyacha priyam, stira buddhira asamudo, brahmavid brahmanistitaha. Person who doesn't lament when he attains something, actually lament is first. One who doesn't rejoice when he attains something pleasant, or laments when he attains something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, unbewildered, and who knows the signs of God, is situated in transcendence. In other words, if one can actually come to the platform of thinking about Krishna and actually experiencing his presence, the happiness in that experience makes everything else tuchavat, insignificant. Therefore, there's no, since material nature is just a combination of the three modes and the 8 elements, combining and recombining different ways, there's really nothing very exciting going on in the material energy. We just imagine it's exciting. But it's always disappointing ultimately. But in spiritual consciousness, everything is ever more exciting because there's ever more intensely feeling of love and understanding the glorious activities of devotional service, how much it can benefit ourselves and everyone else, how important it is. So one becomes realized that actually I'm engaged in the most important activity possible, perfect activity. I can't possibly do anything better than this. And one feels completely safe and satisfied. And except for that, everyone is bewildered because they're supposed to be bewildered. They're supposed to feel unprotected. If you feel protected, you're in trouble. Without Krishna, that is. If you feel protected in the material world, now everything's going all right. I have my room, I have my bed, I have my prasadam, everything's all right. It's not all right. And then when we realize it, we think, well, maybe I have a problem. And then we get all excited. I don't want a problem. Please take my problems away. No, our problem is that we've forgotten Krishna. We're not Krishna conscious, and that's our real problem. And as we become Krishna conscious, then all these other problems, they'll still be there, but we won't take them seriously. They won't be so important. Even if we take them seriously, we have to do something about them. But we rely upon Krishna, that he'll more or less take care of everything. Of course, we have to endeavor, we think we're endeavoring, but we're just following Krishna's directions, whatever we're doing. So that's more or less what this is. The last one is Parayana. Narayana, Parayana. Narayana, Parayana. What is that? Whether one is in heaven, Narakeshu, Tuya api darshanaha. Narayana parayana sarge, kutasya vibyati, swaga apavarga, narakeshu, api tuyata darshanaha. That Lord Shiva is speaking to Parvati, and Parvati had just cursed Chitraketu Maharaj to become a demon in the next lifetime. Could you imagine if you just told someone a joke and you told the wrong person a joke, and then they curse you to become a demon in your next lifetime? You wind up on the other side against the demigods. Could you imagine? And you have a big trident in your hand. You look pretty ugly. Even your mother doesn't like to look at you. And your business is you're stamping on the demigods. I mean, it's bad enough to stamp on ants, but to stamp on a demigod, beautiful little demigod. And he became a demon, but he wasn't disturbed. because he was a Krishna conscious demon, apparently a demon, but he was actually a devotee, a better devotee than even Indra. So therefore Lord Shiva praised Parvati because after Parvati cursed Chitraketu Maharaj to become a demon, he came down from his airplane and offered obeisances to his mother Parvati, Mother Durga, Lord Shiva's wife, and accepted the curse upon his head and asked forgiveness if somehow or another she felt insulted. He got into his airplane and soon he became a demon. But he was a Krishna conscious demon, and therefore when Indra was cutting off his neck with his thunderbolt, which took a year to do because he had such a big neck, but he spent the whole year, I guess, of the demigods meditating upon Krishna. He was in total ecstasy. So if we have a problem with our neck, we should just meditate on Krishna. And it'll go away. We won't be disturbed by it, at least. See a chiropractor if you have to. But we should meditate upon Krishna, take it as an opportunity, and then we won't be disturbed by whatever is going on externally. Just like Chitraketu Maharaj. Narayana Parayana Sarge, Kutastrana Bibhyati, Swaga Apavarga Narakeshu, Apitu Yartha Darshana. Whatever situation, we should take refuge in Krishna. And that's the perfection of that situation. And what's the process? As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Roy, and Ramananda Roy quoted from Lord Brahma, that Gyane Priyasam Upastanamanteva Jivanti Sanmukaritam Bhavadiya Vartam Stane Stita Shutikatam Dhanuvang Manobira Ye Priyasa Jita Jito Taistri Loke. That Gyanena Gyane Priyasam Upastanamanteva Gyane Priyasa. So Priyasa means the endeavor. So we have Atyahara Priyasascha. Gyane Priyasa. Udapasta. Give up the endeavor to try to figure out everything by mental speculation. How we're going to solve all our problems. How we're going to kill our enemies, and he is my enemy, I've killed him. Or she is my enemy and I've killed her. My other enemies will be killed. I'm the Lord of, etc. Give up this tendency to speculate. Gyane Prayasa Udapas Namanta, and become a little submissive. Relax, in other words. Masucha. Give up this idea that with this body and we have to worry about so many things. And how to do that? Gyane Priyasa Udapas Namanta Eva Jivanti Sanmukaritam Bhavadiya Vartam. Here, listen to the words of the great devotees and try to take them seriously and apply them within our life. And how do we do that? Stane sita, staying in whatever situation we're in. We don't have to change. Stane Shruti Gatam, but continuously hear Shruti, the words about Krishna, Gatam, Tanu, the body, Mano, the mind, Bir, the intelligence. Utilize the body, mind, and intelligence in Krishna's service. And then Ye Priyasa, almost always, Ye Priyasa Jita, Jitop, that the unconquerable, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Jitop Taistri Lokyam, will become conquered by such an activity. So we don't have to lift weights to conquer Krishna, learn karate, whatever. We don't have to do any of those things. To conquer Krishna, we just have to hear about him and then try to utilize our body, minds, and words in his service according to what we've heard. And then Krishna is very kind. He'll appear to us. Gradually, we'll become more and more conscious of him. And all our dreaming of that, all this nightmare that we're actually going through, we'll gradually wake up from it and start our actual life again in Krishna consciousness. So I'll stop there. Any questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Sometimes we are in that kind of mood that we think that life is good. And you say, as soon as we think that life is good, we are in trouble.
Yes.
Are we in trouble because when we think that life is good, Krishna will do something so that he shows
No,
us?
he has Indra, he throws thunderbolts at us.
As soon as we think that life is good.
To remind us that life isn't so good.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. He will do something so that actually we know that life is not good.
I mean, how long do you feel life is good?
Until something happens then.
Have you ever gone through a whole year in your life and just felt everything was good?
No,
what about a whole week?
No.
What about a whole day?
No. Maybe they are.
Or maybe your birthday. When you were little and they gave you a nice cake. And or maybe Christmas, there was a whole bunch of presents. It took you most of the day to open them up. And some of the presents are what you wanted, so life was good. Till someone stole your toys. My sister, one Christmas, I woke up, and my sister was up already. And underneath the Christmas tree, I had one toy. My sister had like 30. Life is terrible. And then I found out my sister had stolen all my presents. Life is terrible then. Anything else? Yeah.
A famous quote, Prabhupada said, "We must have something to do and someone to love." Did Prabhupada actually say that? And if he did, in what context did he say that?
I never heard that.
Okay.
But, I mean, we have to have something to do. That's, Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita, Nihi kaschit shenamapi jatu tishtat karma krit karyate yap sram karma sar prakriti jaraganai. That all living entities are forced to act helplessly under the three modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So that covers that. As far as loving someone, that Krishna should be the object of love is the central point of Krishna consciousness. By constantly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and remembering Krishna's pastimes, everyone can be completely in Krishna consciousness, and they thus make his life sublime and fruitful. So, Krishna Prabhupada said something like that. Exactly what he said that, like that, I don't know. But anyhow, he did say that. Anything else? Kuala Grantaraj Bhagavad-gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hare Bol.